Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of Marvel Studios' I Am Groot Season 2. All 5 shorts. These are filled with MCU Easter eggs and details you missed, and I know this might come off as an MCU title that you can skip, but trust me, while some of it is totally silly goofball nonsense, there are some big moves this show makes that, I believe, makes I Am Groot more required viewing than Secret Invasion was, which I know, pretty low bar, but we all rolled our eyes at What If, and that show ended up being hugely important. And in this case, watch these shorts will only take you like 20 or 25 minutes. Come on, watch them, have some fun. Come back here and watch this breakdown. Okay, let's start with Season 2, Episode 1, Are You My Groot? As with Season 1, this short begins with Groot fast forwarding through the Disney Plus Marvel Studios fanfare and then looking at the camera and knocking it over. And the Marvel Studios title card turns into artist brushstrokes as it does in What If. And if nothing else, this season of I Am Groot does set up Season 2 of What If, which sounds like it's gonna come this Christmas. And just so we're clear, these I Am Groot shorts are all set between Guardians Volume 1 and Volume 2, and that kind of era when Groot was still in his baby Groot stage. So really just a reminder that Thanos has not killed Gamora yet. Disney Plus's timeline playlist puts it after Volume 2, so you know, maybe at this point Yondu is dead, but in Season 2 Episode 4, Groot is on the Ravager's ship, the Eclector, which blows up in Volume 2, so it's almost like whoever Marvel put in charge of their timeline maintenance needs to be pruned by the TVA. I'm sure that timeline book that's coming out will have 0 errors whatsoever, because Marvel Studios definitely knows what it's doing when it comes to its chronology. Anyway, Groot is in a jungle area on this planet called Terma, and we know it's Terma because the birds he finds in this episode are Terma birds, according to the credits. Terma was one of the planets that showed up in Rocket's tablet in Volume 2. In the comics, Terma is a planet where Quasar and Moondragon found Adam Warlock in stasis. It's kind of a throwaway planet, but now Guardians Volume 3 just introduced Phyla Vel, who becomes Quasar, so this stuff might come into play. Groot wears, like a sling backpack, this hip fanny pack with matching colors to the Milano. So this is probably Peter Quill's. I know you watchers in the UK have a different take on the word fanny, but you know, that's your weird problem. Groot snacks on candy that I think is the same space candy that he eats and then pukes up in Volume 2. This Terma bird hatches. We hear a sound like it's a magic trick! And I love whenever the director, Kristen Lepore, frames Groot from below, because normally baby Groot is tiny in frame. But from his point of view, sometimes there are just things even smaller than him. And by framing it this way, it creates this cool sense of scale where we can really make out the details of Groot's anatomy, and also just kind of freaks us out. Now, the title of this episode, Are You My Groot, is probably a reference to P.D. Eastman's Are You My Mother, which is edited by the Dr. Seuss brand. And yeah, the story kind of goes the same way as the kid's book does. Like Elliot with E.T., Groot befriends this bird, really just on the basis of candy, but overall, this is a bunch of poop jokes. I'm kind of glued to my computer most of the day, so I wind up ordering a lot of stuff for delivery, and this morning, I got an iced coffee from my favorite local place for free by using a Visa gift card that I got from answering surveys on Ipsos iSay. Ipsos iSay lets you earn extra cash through gift cards and rewards just by taking part in research and answering a few simple questions. There's a ton of different gift cards to choose from, but my favorite is the Visa. I can use it anywhere for anything, which gives me the most options to pick out free stuff for myself. The surveys on Ipsos iSay are quick, easy, and tailored to my interests, so it never gets boring. I do them while I'm brushing my teeth, or stuck on hold, or just have a few minutes to kill. I upgraded my downtime, and you can too. Just click the link in the description to start earning rewards with Ipsos iSay today. The bag of candy reads in the Skrull language, in lowercase, candy, which I'm glad I could clear up for you. As Groot tries to sleep, the goofy music slows down. And then a whole bunch of other Terma birds stampede past Groot. They're really headed though to the giant mama Terma bird, which somehow, defying the laws of physics, flaps away with just these tiny wings. And now when Groot steps in the poo, he can't help but feel a bit nostalgic. And the credits of all these episodes are these disclaimers. In this one, it reads, no tree creatures, Terma birds, or big mamas were harmed during the making of this short. Okay, on to Season 2, Episode 2, Groot noses around. Groot plays a video game while stuffing himself silly on junk food. This is a fighter game in the style of Street Fighter, and it looks like Groot is playing as a Skrull fighter fighting against either a blue celestial or maybe just a Kree soldier. And cheering in the background, more Easter eggs, Howard the Duck, and Valkyrie, and I think maybe on the far right that might be Topaz from Sakaar. I'm not really sure though. Now, already in this junk-covered room, there is a layer of green stench hovering over everything. We see it, but we don't notice it because we don't smell it yet. The game pauses, and a window pops up with Kree letters translating to low battery. So Groot looks through a bin marked rocket stuff, keep out, and he finds one battery, but also in this bin in is Borker's eye. That's the eye that Rocket wanted in Volume 1 and showed back up in Volume 2. There's a yellow robot arm, maybe for the sex spots of Contraxia. But then in the back, a metal leg with a shoe. This is a leg that Rocket wanted Peter Quill to get from that prisoner in the kiln in Volume 1 that he really didn't need. Groot ends up with an orange nose stuck to his face, giving him the ability to smell. For the first time, he smells an air freshener, which is a tree like himself. Now I know from the ice cream truck that the first and the fifth letter that look like an equal sign translates to E, and the second to the last one is an O, and then none of the other letters are I, C, R, A, M, or F. That's the farthest I can get with translating this. Groot huffs a highlighter and tries to eat a candle, and he sprays himself with deodorant. This can has machine builder code text that translates to kill at the top of it, and then at the bottom the word clean. Groot returns to his room to realize how horrible it smells, but rather than using the duster to clean, he just uses it to pop off the nose. And he resumes his plane, and I love how the Skrull fighter in this just got a big ol' smile. In the credits of this episode, no tree creatures were harmed during the making of this short, although robotic body parts may have been borrowed for use. Alright, Season 2, Episode 3, Groot's Snow Day. The Milano heads to this ice-covered planet with terrain similar to the planet where Thor and Korg found Falagar the Behemoth in Thor Love and Thunder. Groot pours some cocoa in a mug from a packet with Skrull writing translating to Choc, C-H-O-C, and then pour some cream on it from a purple bottle translating to cream. Outside, Groot throws a snowball at one of the rockets on the Milano. The Kree text along the top of it reads, "Danger!" Groot makes a snowman and then decides to gather parts from the Milano to decorate him, including one of those rockets with the danger on it for the head, and then, I love this, at least 3 Anulax batteries. Anulax batteries! These are the ones stolen by Rocket from the Sovereign in Volume 2, and they are highly explosive, highly valuable, and I speculated in my deep dive of Guardians Volume 2, these batteries might be based on celestial DNA, celestial tissue, the same golden fluid harvested from nowhere, which could be why, when Groot plugs these into the snowman, the Snowbot comes to life with a kind of sentience, which would fuel my theory that Anulax batteries have some deeper significance and deeper power that have not yet been fully realized in the MCU. Groot throws a snowball, and it does no damage, but it does give the Snowbot another idea to pack more and more snow onto itself, making itself bigger into an alpha Snowbot. And then when that Snowbot turns into Milano, Groot fears not for his friends inside, but for the steaming hot cocoa. And so Groot throws one last snowball at the rocket in its head. And I love how Kristen Lepore animates this throw with a cheesy 80s action frame rate. The Snowbot explodes, and its red eye stays illuminated like the Terminator coming back to life. There's actually a post-credit scene to this episode as Groot sips the cocoa, and it's still too hot. Yeah, a little vocal cameo from Bradley Cooper there as Rocket, but off screen. Now, in the credits of this episode, no tree creatures were harmed during the making of the short. We cannot speak for the killer Snowbot. Season 2, Episode 4, Groot's Sweet Treat. So Groot plays with a can with a green label and a Nova pilot action figure. And I know, I'm so sorry, because in my trailer breakdown for this, I had a major brain fart and said that this was a Steve Rogers action figure, and everyone yelled at me. Anyway, yeah, this is a Nova pilot action figure. Are we all happy? Can we move on, please? Okay, so an ice cream truck floats up to the Eclector, and it plays a classic ice cream truck tune. Scott Joplin's The Entertainer. The pink neon sign spells out ice cream, and I just kind of did that through letter substitution. That's how I was able to start to figure out that air freshener. There is a sign in Builder machine code for flow cubes. Flow cubes! There's also an ice cream cone that I'm pretty sure is based on Howard the Duck. There's a yellow bag with a blue Fasaki. You remember Fasaki? That's a species Blurp is. We saw a hairless one that looks like this fighting in Nowhere in Volume 1. The text on this screen is the same as the ice cream sign in the air freshener. It translates to 4-3. Groot traces a heart in the window fog, and in the center of that heart is a popsicle in the shape of the Celestial, Arishem the Judge, his six-eyed head. This is what Groot wants. So yes, this tells us that Arishem is famous enough around the galaxy that he's being made into ice cream, but it makes us wonder why this one, Groot? We'll answer that at the end of this breakdown. So Groot searches the Eclector for any kind of gold coins that he can find, and he finds the claw machine game with machine builder code on the outside of this machine too, the word win. And Groot, even though he's small enough to go through the receptacle or even to reach his branch arms up through it, he just cannonballs through the glass, and he finds the coin is just chocolate, which I just have to pause here to ask, Groot, this is chocolate! You want a sweet treat, right? Just eat this! So once he finds all the coins, Groot pilots a ship out of the Eclector to catch up with the ice cream truck and obliterates it apparently, because we end the episode with Groot licking the Arishem popsicle as the Howard the Duck ice cream splatters on the ship, and he's surrounded by the wreckage of the poor ice cream truck, and I hope this was autopiloted because yes, someone would be dead. And Groot is approached by 2 Nova Corps ships. So this episode opens and closes with Nova. And we end with the music of the Platters, Only You. In the credits, no tree creatures or intergalactic ice cream ships were harmed in the making of this short. All sweet treats were thoroughly sampled and tested for safety reasons. And finally, Season 2, Episode 5, Groot and the Great Prophecy. Now, this one is a pretty huge deal, so listen up, kiddos. Jeffrey Wright returns as a Watcher. The Milano flies past his head, and we hear him saying,
I am the Watcher, your guide through the vast realities of time. And today, we bear witness to a monumental prophecy about to be fulfilled.
So even though I Am Groot is an animated title, all of the locations, creatures, hardware, and other things are really things in the live action MCU that would be rendered with 3D CGI. So we could look at this as a live action title, and that would make the Watcher in this starry background live action in a sense, which would be the second live action Watcher cameo after their appearance in the Stan Lee scene in Guardians Volume 2. So the Watcher explains the legend of the last seed of Dreslar. Dreslar also showed up on Rocket's tablet in Volume 2, and the comics, Dreslar is a colony that's part of the Kree Empire. It was destroyed in the Annihilation War, which I think is going to be partly adapted for the upcoming film The Marvels. But in Nova number 4 in 2007, Nova Prime Richard Rider comes across Kor-El, who led a group of 102 Kree survivors that were the only ones left after 19 million colonists on Dreslar. They all got caught in enemy fire, 102 left, so the Xandarian world mind merges with Kor-El, making her Nova 0001, but Kor-El ends up failing and ultimately dying. That's the story of Dreslar. Here, Dreslar is the home of an ancient people who worshipped this great seed that the Watcher explains will emerge from this hallowed ground according to the prophecy and usher the universe into a glorious new age. Now, this idea of a seed of such cosmic importance reminds us of two things: the Embers of Genesis from What If Episode 2, that was the MacGuffin of that episode, but also the idea of a celestial seed. Remember those? That's what Airshim would plant inside of planets like Earth to grow and to hatch into other celestials like Tiamat. This Dreslar seed could be a celestial seed, and its golden glow could be connected to the celestial brain fluid and the Anti-Lax batteries if you buy my crackpot theory. The chosen one hero of this story is of course Groot. He enters the temple bouncing a purple ball, recalling Peter Quill dancing like a fool into the Morag temple, there to contain a ball containing an Infinity Stone, the purple Power Stone. So in the way that was Peter Quill's origin story, this is kind of Groot's origin story, you could say. And of course both of these are based on the opening to Raiders of the Lost Ark, but rather than avoiding all the booby traps, Groot recklessly sets off every single one of them, including the release of lava. We realized this seed was actually in this kind of maze so that the lava flow would be timed perfectly to give Groot as much time as possible to save the seed. But instead, Groot gets distracted by the mural, and the Watcher's eyes we see are glowing from the upper right, the vines perfectly in the shape of his silhouette. But Groot is uninterested in the seed because he just uses chalk to draw a face on the tree, because he considers trees to be sentient, and he's not wrong. The Watcher frets.
He must be ready to resume his mission. The galaxy's greatest hope has only minutes until it literally goes up in flames, and Can he see me? No, I'm a fifth-dimensional being.
So Groot can perceive the Watcher. It's a huge deal. Normally the Watcher can only be seen when he wants lower life forms to be able to see him, with the exception of Ultron Infinity. In the final 2 episodes of What If, Ultron Infinity had all 6 Infinity Stones and was able to elevate to this god level power, akin to something like Galactus, because we saw him take a bite out of a galaxy. Now Groot as a species is a Flora Colossus, but I have long speculated that this Groot, after his former form's destruction Volume 1, came back as a being benefiting from photogenesis via celestial light. That could explain his affinity for the Airshim popsicle. Groot could be a god and not know it. By the way, 5th dimensional being, what would those 5 dimensions be? Well, 3 dimensions of our reality, the X, the Y, and the Z axis for normal 3-dimensional space. The 4th dimension would be time. The 5th dimension would be beyond that. According to the Watcher, that next dimension would be reality, making him a being that can transcend the multiverse. So you got space, time, and reality, which the Watcher mentions in the intro to every episode of What If. So Groot gets his ball back and he just lets the seed burn, supposedly dooming this universe. As the Watcher says,
I'm the Watcher, but I can't watch this.
Yeah, we see his eye closing on this scene, but it opens on the rubble and he makes a realization.
Prophecy was so clear. It said the seed, this small vessel of great potential, would sprout from this very place, spreading peace and joy throughout. And the seed is a metaphor, isn't it?
Yes, Groot is a seed, and yes, it's probably just a sweet tale to paint Groot as a big thing in a small package, inspiring people like us with joy and happiness. But I think it also endows this character with greater significance to future MCU events. He's one of the Guardians of the Galaxy who still seems to be part of the Guardians lineup. He is now Alpha Groot, and who knows what form he's going to take next. He could be someone who actually makes a case for life in general against Celestials and Galactus. He could bridge the divisions between universes during Secret Wars. Groot really could be the key to everything, because as the Watcher in the clouds watches Milano depart, he recognizes a goodness in Groot, and Groot recognizes him.
Go forth, you little seedling. I know you'll make us proud. How does he keep doing that?
Yes, Groot's godly status, his ability to see through these dimensions, confounds even other god figures like the Watcher, who, remember in Thor Love and Thunder, was on the same tier of power as figures like Eon, Death, the Celestial One above all, and Eternity. And to the Watcher, Groot is a mystery to him. So if you're comparing two mysteries, when one mystery is more mysterious to the other mystery, which of the mysteries is more powerful? And in the credits of this episode, we see no tree creatures, Dreslar seeds, or ancient temples were damaged or lost during the making of the short. The same cannot be said for a certain fifth dimensional being's patience. Thank you for watching this breakdown of I Am Groot Season 2. Please subscribe to all 3 channels in the new Rockstars network. You can follow me on all social platforms at Erik Voss. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.